Hi guys, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and I'm gonna do hopefully a short video to help out Steve and John that's having problems with their chain case they just rebuilt. Now before I get into that, I want to say I got some new Pepsi and it's called Niagara Water. Until Pepsi, Coke, and McDonald's pulls out of Russia, I don't want anything to do with their products. This water happens to be established, manufactured in California by a family company since 1963. If you're going to use bottled water, something I've noticed and was mentioned to me, before you open it, or I would suggest before you even buy it, take a bottle out of the package, don't shake it, turn it upside down, and watch to see if you see anything settling to the bottom of the bottle. Most companies do not wash out their bottles after they make them, and they are full of plastic particles. But according to the government, it's an allowable standard and it won't hurt you if you drink it. Yeah, we've heard that before. I don't think I want to drink plastic particles in my water. Just something to look out for. Now, let's take the place of the Pepsi bottle. Steve is having issues with his chain case. Now, I made these tools to remove and install bearings in a chain case. This is a chain case out of a machine I'm working on. This one's not bad. I mean, it's wore out, but at least the hub goes into it. This one, it doesn't. So we're going to knock this bearing out of here. Very simple. Steel plate, piece of pipe. Now the pipe is to support the chain case, whether if you're pushing the bearing in or out. You don't want to lay it down on a flat surface and push on this. You could distort or bend the case, and they're like 50 bucks. So we're going to support it. To knock the bearing out, you put this tool in. Now this tool has a stop that's adjustable. So when you press the bearing in, this stop hits on the metal plate and stops in the correct position. But to press the bearing out, I always press them from the outside in, and I install them from the inside out. Put that in there and you just tap on it. They move very easily. There is nothing to stop them in the correct position outside of this or your eyeballs. Now the lower bearing has a snap ring in a groove in the outer race. You press that in with this tool on the pipe, and you press it in till it quits moving. Do not pound on it. You press it in. I use my drill press, and everybody hollers at me, but not everybody has a press at their disposal. A lot of people have drill presses, or they know somebody that has one. This tool is made so it goes in and it sets against the outer race of the bearing. It does not push against the inner race. If you do that, you will destroy the bearing. And the same with this tool. It is made so the bearing will drop on it and it presses against the outer rim. That's where all the strength is. And it doesn't distort or hurt the bearing. I see people putting bearings in, they pound them in with a hammer. They're not going to last, believe me. Now the problem Steve is having. This is your sprocket and hub, and it has nylon thrust washers on each side. That does two things. I don't know where my other one is. I had to. Okay, where'd it go? There it is. These do two things. They're on there and they rub up against the inside shoulder of that bearing. And this one is in too far. It should hit. It's not hitting. The second thing these things do is they hide the weld. If that weld was rubbing up against your bearing, it would destroy it. And the thrust washers are hollow, so they go over top that weld and keep it out of harm's way, I guess. Now to move these, they move very easily. I made this tool. Put that on top of the bearing and tap on it. I use either a wooden mallet, a rubber mallet, or a nylon. I never use steel. Just that tapping shoved that bearing in probably too far. That's the problem Steve has. He's got his chain case put together and it's bound up. He says it turns really hard. This one turns great. It has a little bit of side plate. Not bad. That might be considered a little excessive in some countries. But you can take that out with that same tool. Put it on here and tap on it. This fits a little tight in the hole. I should make it a little smaller tomorrow. That's probably too much. Nope, that's not bad now. Very little movement. It spins nice. Now Steve's problem. Steve, you want to support this somehow. I use this piece of pipe on the face of the case and lay it down. Now you want to get yourself, I just got this little hunk of steel. I don't even know where it's from or what it's for, but it works good for this. You lay it on top of there and you tap this very lightly because it's going to move easily. And if it goes too far, then it's going to be real sloppy. Because what you're doing is you're going to tap on this one, or I should say on this side, and it's going to go through and it's going to push this bushing out. So you have a little more clearance and it will spin free. That's the two problems you have. One will be too tight, one will be way too loose. These tools press these in. It's a set that I made and I've loaned this thing out I don't know how many times. Wade is the last guy that had it out of Wichita, Kansas. Hi Wade, hope you're watching. And it'll cost you, well now it's up to $8.45. Used to be $7.25. But if you pay shipping both ways, you can use this set of tools. To press the bearing in, I knock them out from the outside in. When you want to put them in this case, you put the bearing on the tool and you set it in the hole and you use your drill press or a press to push down on this. A drill press works really nice because you can actually clamp on this diameter, and that will align it so it's pushing straight down. If you're going to use a press, a hydraulic press, I would have made this like this, so the press would push squarely on the bottom. Trying to push squarely on this little diameter is going to be pretty hard. I'd have to make a different tool for that. But like I said, I use my drill press. It's beefy enough, it doesn't hurt it. Or it hasn't, at least so far. But that's the two problems you're going to end up with these top bearings, because there's no stop on them. You can push them right through in either direction, and it makes it a little hard to get them in the correct location without this tool. Now at the factory, I'm sure they have some kind of a setup like this where it only pushes it in so far and it stops. I'm sure they don't piddle around and tap this thing back and forth until they get it right where they want it. But this chain case is in a nice shape. It came out of a machine that I tore apart for parts. I think the machine had a blown engine. It was in really good shape. That's one of the machines that I tore apart, and I probably shouldn't have. I should have bought an engine and put on it and sold it. But I guess from what I understand, they're not building these anymore. And every time I go online to try to get parts, I run into a few more that's been discontinued. Somebody told me that they discontinued the gasket for the chain cases. But then I've had another guy, I think it was Steve, that ordered a gasket for his differential, and both gaskets come together in that set. So I'm going to have to check into that, and I just may order 8 or 9 sets of gaskets just so I have them around. They're going to start discontinuing this stuff. I guess I'll have to store them myself. But that's it for this. Steve, if you have any other questions, let me know. And until next time, please subscribe. I need subscribers. Work safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. So long.